34.
If it is on.
All right. So.
Don't know. I'm trying.
All right.
Don't worry. I got you. Okay.
Okay, everyone.
He always tells you.
So you'll tell me when we're good, right, Hank?
I think he's doing the introduction. So.
You live, brother. Greetings
Live.
and welcome, family, to Magnus Crystals and Pyramids. I am proud to announce Brother Lalji Selassie is going to teach this class as I remain backstage. Blessings, bruh.
Okay. We're doing an invocation. The invocation. Thou mighty majestic Christ power, now growth, now grown to full stature, we salute thee by the sign of the heart and head, accepting the fullness of the mighty power made manifest in the heart of the students and of the people of America. We accept the fullness of the light and its illuminating presence within the heart and mind of each one, surging forward with such intensity that it carries the courage and strength for everyone to make the needed conscious effort, which will enable the mighty I Am presence to raise the atomic structure into its full ascension. Now I will step aside and let our beloved brother speak his heart. So instead of Saint Germain speaking today, who's coming in is Lord Jesus the Christ. Discourse by beloved Jesus. Second one, JD.
Yeah, I know.
I bring you love and salutations from many of the ascended hosts, some of whom you know, and others of whom you are yet to know. I am the light, the way, and the truth, is the Christmas bell that is still ringing throughout the field of the cosmic activity, in the understanding that has been brought to you in the meaning and power of the words, I am. You will find a charmed circle in which you may move untouched by the human discordant operations. It is not only a matter of knowing the presence, but in practicing the presence in even the simplest activities. For as you attempt an unfamiliar experience, you many times feel timid and uncertain. But as you learn to use the I am in the solving of your desires or problems, you find growing a confidence that you can apply with a definite assurance. The student should always understand that it is in the great silence or stillness of the outer that the inner powers flow in its ever-increasing accomplishments, and soon they will come to know that even as they think of their mighty source, and I am, they will feel an increase of strength, vitality, and wisdom. You gotta silence that. Which will enable them to grow forward with a feeling of mastery that will surely one day open wide the door through the limitations of their human creations into the vastness of their true freedom. We so often see in the heart the cravings for proof, some remarkable manifestations which will strengthen them on the way. I assure you, blessed children of the light, any proof given outside of yourself is but temporary. but every step proven in and through your own conscious application is an eternal accomplishment. And as you continue to gain the mastery through your self-love, through your self-conscious applications, you are not only accomplishing the thing in hand, but you are raising the consciousness until presently you will find that all barriers have gone down. It is in this manner that the door of human limitations is forever nailed back. And as my outer form was nailed to the cross, so do you, by your ascending consciousness, nail back the door of self-created limitations and feel and know your dominion. Anyone who has any questions, just ask the question, say, blah, blah, I got a question, and we'll deal with that straight away. Because as I read and there's questions in your mind and they're not brought forth, sometimes it just gets skipped over. To the many students so vitally interested in making the ascension, I would urge you to use the statement often, I am the ascension in the light. This could be even used as a mantra, but it is a decree. I am the ascension in the light. I am the ascension in the light. How many times you can say that a day? I would go for 10,000 times. This will enable your consciousness to move quickly, rise out of the mire of human creations. I cannot be stressed too urgently that as you live in and accept more fully the transcendent power of the I Am presence, you will find that not only the outer struggling cease, but that as you have entered deep into the light, the outer thing that you have sought so earnestly will really and truly begin to seek you. Because by that time, you will truly and fully realize the unreality of form and its transitory activity. You will then know that within you and the light about you is everything you can possibly desire. And the outer, which has seemed so very important, will have lost its great binding power upon you. I want to read that again because he has it in italics, and I want to emphasize that point. You will then know, because by that time you will truly and fully realize that the unreality of form and its transitory activities, you will then know that within you and the light about you is everything you can possibly desire. And the outer, which has seemed so very important, will have lost its great binding power upon you. Then in the outer things that come to you will come joyous freedom. This is the true activity of the outer things. This is the true activity of outer things. As you become more conscious of the transcendent power which are at your command, you will know that you can quickly draw to yourself anything you require without harming or affecting another of God's children. So you can get what you want without stealing, robbing, or killing, for that matter. The truth must be established within the consciousness, for conscientious souls must know this unwaveringly, so they may not at intervals find themselves wondering if it is right for them to succeed when others around them are not succeeding. For your greatest service, I assure you, it is to gain the mastery and freedom for yourself. No matter what anybody else is doing, your number one duty in life is to attain your ascension. Do you know where any of these are?
There's no more.
The truth must be established within the consciousness, for conscientious souls must know this unwaveringly. I'm reading this over, so they may not at intervals find themselves wondering if it is right for them to succeed when others around them are not succeeding. For your greatest service, I assure you, is to gain the mastery and freedom of your soul, of yourself, for yourself. I remember when I was living with my guru in India, living in the ashram, the number one thing that kept coming to me day by day, every moment, this is exactly what you should be doing with your life. Going to attain God consciousness was exactly what you should be doing with your life. And as the whole day was involved in just pursuing God one way or another, through mantras, through chants, through decrees, through service to the guru, through reading scriptures, through meditating, every day I was so clear, this is exactly what you should be doing with your life. And I would warn those who say to themselves, who want to do the ascension, who want to attain God consciousness, want to be fully realized, or who want to ascend to that highest state of consciousness, don't put something before it. Whatever you want is like Jesus said, and he's saying now, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added unto you. Go for yourself first. There's nothing greater than your own self. Then you are prepared to dispense the light without being affected by human creation in which you must move. Never feel sad or distressed if another of God's children is not ready to accept the light, for he does come to the light, the thing that clean needs. For if he does not come to the light of his own accord, it is really but a temporary step. Sooner or later, every one of us must go to the light. As one begins to gain conscious freedom from the body, he understands how temporal these outer things are and how unimportant. But when one enters into the universal consciousness or the great cosmic activity, one finds, you know what the other one is? One finds to enter into the light is of all importance. Then he will know the joy of the inner presence and its invincible activity, for which his heart will leap with joy. Shortly before I became aware of my full mission, the statement stood out vividly before me. I am the presence that never fails or makes a mistake. This I knew later was a sustaining power which enabled me to be the resurrection and the life. It is unfortunate indeed that some of the spiritual statements have been clouded by human concepts. Let me repeat that. It is unfortunate indeed, the black one of yours, maybe it's in the room. It is unfortunate indeed that some of the spiritual statements have been clouded by human concepts. Some of the scriptural statements have been clouded by human concepts, yet I am thankful indeed that many have remained unaltered. Another statement I used constantly for more than 3 years was, I am always the majestic power of pure love that transcends every human concept and that opens the door to me, to the light within its heart. Let's read it again. I am always the majestic power of pure love that transcends human concept and that opens the door to me, to the light within its heart. I knew later this greatly intensified my true inner vision. So that is a jewel, y'all. That is a jewel that Jesus is giving us right here. He's saying, say this decree and say it often. I am always the majestic power of pure love that transcends every human concept and that opens the door to me, to the light within its heart. My true inner vision. I knew later this greatly manifested my true inner vision. In response to the earnest desires within the hearts of many, I wish to say that during the years in which the scriptures seem to have been unaware of my activity. I was going from place to place in search of the expansion of the light and presence which I feel within myself, which I felt within myself. And I assure you, beloved students, not with the ease and speed with which you are able to seek today. In other words, so Kevin is in the house. Nice. Glad to see you. So he's saying as he traveled, he's going to tell us the countries that he traveled in. He's saying as he traveled, as the light was growing within him, he went to various various countries, and it was not as easy to get to those countries as it is for us to do now. Because all we got to do is jump in a plane. They had to worry about traveling over land and sea, which is extremely dangerous. Let me see that one. Okay. In response to the earnest desires of
You have some water over there. Water.
Thank you. In those days, in my associations were joyous to receive. Those of that day in my associations were joyous to receive the knowledge of those unchronicled experiences. But owing to the unusual nature of them, it was thought unwise to place them before the multitude. So has been through the ages. When the period of transcendent experience has begun to fade into the yesterday, and those who follows were not sufficiently advanced to realize this truth, they have shut out from humanity glories, beautiful and wonderful. However, they have shut out. I want to understand that a little bit better. So it has been through the ages, when the period of transcendent experience has begun to fade into yesterday, and those who follow were not sufficiently advanced to realize this truth, they have shut out from humanity's glories, beautiful and wonderful. However, at this time, there has come to the assistance of humanity the cosmic Christ power, which became so real to me. This, through its natural impulse for expression, is steadily and surely finding its way into the hearts and minds of a large percent of mankind, to the extent that great hope is present that this activity will enable the veil of human creations to be lifted. So great numbers of humanity will see signs and wonders and feel them within their own hearts. Then they cannot be turned aside from the truth by human doubt and fear. I spent some time in Arabia. So Jesus is telling us, I spent some time in Arabia, Persia, and Tibet, and closed my pilgrimage in India. So he traveled to Arabia, then he traveled to Persia, then he traveled to Tibet, and then he closed his pilgrimage in India, where I met the beloved master who has made the ascension. Although I did not know it at that time, through the power of his radiation, revelation after revelation came to me, through which I was given expressions or statements that enabled me to hold steady the outer activity of my mind until it no longer had power to disturb me. So he met his master in India. And at that time, I would assume there was a lot of masters. Of course, there's a lot now still there. It seemed to me in my own experiences that in the same way that you could come, or maybe you used to come to America and make money, it was like the place to be. India is still the place to be to make spiritual progress. You can meet masters, and the whole culture is conducive to someone being living a spiritual life and traveling a spiritual path, going to the Himalayas and many of these Kumbh Melas and things of this nature. Ask Corinne if she could come on. If you can come on, Corinne, please come on. And April, if you could come on, if it's possible, to the Zoom. It was then the full glory of my mission. It was then the full glory of my mission was revealed, and the eternal cosmic record it was to make, which was to be established at that time for the blessing and enlightenment of humanity that was to follow. Jaden, you gave them the... Excuse me, y'all, while I make my glasses clear. While I clear my glasses. It's cloudy. Remember, y'all, ask any question y'all want, although Jesus is clear. You might be interested to know that this became an active cosmic record, which is quite different from any other record made, in that it contains within it, and does today, the forward urge or impulse for which the human mind was and is a magnet. This accounts for the expression and statements I gave forth becoming more and more vivid through the centuries, and with the forward impulse of that activity, assisted by other powerful rays of radiation focused upon the earth. It will enable a great number of humanity to become so anchored in the truth and its conscious application that a transcendent accomplishment will be achieved. There is no one single step so vital and important as getting before mankind the knowledge of the I am. The I am is the source of God. The I am is yourself, your higher self. There is no one single step so vividly important as getting before mankind the knowledge of the I am, their source of life, and its transcendental power, and its transcendent power, which can be brought into the conscious use of the individual. Within 3 years, it will be amazing how this simple yet all-powerful truth will have spread among humanity, for all who will think upon it, practice its presence, and consciously direct its energy through the power of divine love, will find a new world of peace, love, health, and prosperity open to them. I want to read that again. I want to read that statement again because I find it to be very deep. In 3 years, is Lord Jesus saying, in 3 years, we could uplift this planet? There's no one single step so vitally important as getting before mankind the knowledge of the I am, their source of life, and its transcendent power, which can be brought into conscious use of the individual. Within 3 years, it will be amazing how this simple yet all-powerful truth will have spread among humanity. For all who will think upon it, practice its presence, and consciously direct its energy through the power of divine love, will find a new world of peace, love, health, and prosperity open to them. Excuse me. Those who understand applying the knowledge of the I am need never be beset by inharmony or disturbance in their homes, world, or activities. For it is only by a lack of acknowledgement and acceptance of the full power of the I am presence that individuals allow human concepts and creation to disturb them. Clearly, I see in my own life, I'm seeing how things just got, we're in a depression right now. And they're telling us it's a recession, but we're in a depression. There's no doubt about it. And things were just closing in on me. And I needed to take a job, and I took the job, and I went away from this work here. And then I came back, and I said to myself, look, if God does not give me the supply, the money, and the resources that I need to do this work, then he doesn't want me to do this work right now. And so what ends up happening is I was given the work and I was given the means to sustain myself and not worry about where food was going to come from, the marshals coming to my door to kick me out, or any other thing. Uh, Everything just came and it's still coming in greater abundance. I see it, I feel it, and it is amazing how when we let go and let God, how everything just works out so wonderfully. Here is a jewel. Here is a jewel coming, y'all. Bust it. The student should constantly look within his human self and see what habits or creations are there that need to be plucked out and disposed of. For only by refusing to any longer allow habits of judgment, condemning, and criticizing to exist can he be free. The true identity of the student is only to perfect his own world, and he cannot do it as long as he sees imperfection in the world of another of God's children. This is a powerful, powerful statement. Oftentimes it's overlooked. Many times it's not understood at all how powerful criticism, condemnation, judgment, or blame is on the spiritual path of someone wanting to reach the higher states of consciousness, someone wanting to attain the God state or the Christ state. Criticism, condemnation, judgment, or blame. If you can't get over that, and I'm telling you, I'm trying, you cannot expect to reach the God state. If you can't get that out, you get that out of you, you will not attain higher states of consciousness. I thought I truly thought that it was not a big thing. Criticism, condemnation, judgment, blame, the little things. I thought they were like little things. Uh, I thought lying, killing, stealing, that was the big problems. But most people don't kill or steal. Seems like everybody is lying. But most people don't do the most wretched characteristics. Taking advantage of women or and these other things. Most people don't do that. It's these criticism, condemnations, judgment, blame that just perpetuate the wickedness. It just keeps it going. And if we can't get rid of it out of our own self, we will not attain the ascension. It will be held back from us. It will elude us. Once we start having visions and supernatural experiences, we should write them down. We should chronicleize them. They will serve a greater purpose in your life, in your diary as you move on the spiritual path. Write down all the miraculous events that you experience because they will give you motivation. They will give you inspiration to move ahead on the path. And if you don't write them down, you will forget them. You will forget them and the lessons that they bring to you. You have been given marvelous statements to harmoniously govern your life and world. Apply them with determination, and you will succeed. Another correction many of you wish me to make is this. I did not say on the cross. In the Bible, he's talking about, I did not say on the cross, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? But I did say, Father, how thou hast glorified me. And I did receive unto the glories with me the brother who was on my right on the cross. So he's given truth. He's correcting the statement, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? Because an ascended being would not say that. I remember years ago, my guru was commenting on this statement, and he said, I don't believe he said that. He was talking about the Bible, and he said, I don't believe he said that. And I thought it was really interesting that he did say that. The guru said that. He said a ascended being would not do that. And the lineage that and he also told us that you are initiated into the same lineage that Jesus was initiated into. He was talking to us as he was giving this discourse on the truth, which we always love because he would give us great secrets. I got plenty of sleep last night. I don't know why I'm yawning. And would give us great secrets. But here Jesus is saying, I did say, Father, thou hast glorified me. And he's giving credence to the fact that the brother that was on the right of him on the cross, who said that he was a pure man and that he took him into the glories with him. He did take him into heaven with him. That is really interesting. I read another story, and here's a book. I didn't tell you about this, Evan, yesterday as I was giving you books to read, but there is a book called The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. And Jesus is in this book too. I think this book was written by Brad Sterling, if I'm not mistaken. Bard Sterling. It was Bard, Byrd, something like that. Sterling. And it's like a 6-volume works, and it is crushed. It is so deep. And there was this guy that was traveling. I don't know what they were really doing, but Jesus was among them, and other ascended masters were among them. And this guy was old. He was just old, and but he was traveling with them. And in the Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, he died. The guy died. He was traveling with them, and I don't know how he got to travel with Jesus and other ascended masters, and he wasn't ascended. But one morning they woke up and he was dead. And Jesus came and he just brought him back to life, and he made him ascended. And this is like blew my mind. I mean, it really blew my mind. I'm like, dang. So, could it be like that? Could you be traveling with the masters and you pass off and they just come by? He not only revived him from death, but he gave him back his youthful body. So he gave him his eternal body to live in. And the guy is speaking in the Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. Jesus made a comment about him too, and then this guy started teaching, like Brad Sterling and a couple of other people that was traveling with him. The book is really glorious. And the way I came upon it was like this. Every time I would go to spiritual haunts and I would do seminars around the world or around America, I would always, because I'm a bibliophile, I would always ask people, what's the most powerful book you ever read? Or what was a high-powered book you read on the spiritual path? And they would always give me this book, that book, so forth and so on. But one of the books that kept coming up continuously was The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. And so I got it. I never blew past one of these experiences. I was really looking for that serious knowledge. And if everybody is saying something is there. And when I read that book, I was transfixed. It was a 6-volume works, but I sped through it. It was like eating nectar. That's how glorious it was, filled with adventures and stories and divine knowledge. It was really, really something. Like this book I'm reading now. There are a number of these beloved students whom I knew personally at the time of my crucifixion. So he's saying here that people in the audience, this is in 1930, I think it was 33, on December, Christmas Eve of 1933. He's giving this discourse. Jesus is giving this discourse on Christmas Eve of 1933. And he's saying there are a number of people in the audience where he was at that time that was there when he was crucified. Let me just read it over again. There are a number of these beloved students whom I knew personally at the time of the crucifixion. And in giving this message forth to them, I feel like talking to old friends. For in the great ascended presence, centuries are but an incident. And only as we come into contact with human events is there cognizance of time. So I read this before a few times, and I thought to myself, man, so they met Jesus 2,000 years ago, and they haven't ascended yet. What went on that blocked them from it? What was their consciousness? that even after 2,000 years, but nonetheless, they are, you know, they are attaining now. I mean, I don't know if they're attaining. Watch out for the cord. That I don't know if they're attaining now or not, but 2,000 years have passed, and thank you. They're not in the holy realm where Jesus is. Man, now my master was on the same level of Jesus. I pray I am not in that situation. I'm like ready right about now in this life, even though we're living in a hellish time and in Sodom and Gomorrah of America. But I'm praying that I do not allow myself to be locked behind. And let me say this to y'all too. There are many things that we do in the morning before we come online right now in the broadcast, and we do this every day except Saturdays and Saturdays. We're studying how to get that money, and so that we can live the life that we want. And I had mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. We're doing a study that will bring a great deal of wealth to you, guaranteed. It's your own wealth, and I'm not going to say what it is, but it's your own wealth. And those who are interested in it can join the class. It's a study group, so I'm not a master of this thing, but I am getting knowledge of it, and I will definitely continue to study it until mastery is gained. But I tell you right now that it is a great deal of wealth. It is your own wealth, and the class is showing you how to gain access of your own money that exists right here, right now. I'm not talking no hairy fairy stuff. I'm not talking about pie in the sky. I'm not talking about anything but how to get your own wealth. Beloved students who are so earnestly seeking the light, try to feel yourself held in my loving embrace. Try to feel yourself clothed in that light, dazzling as a noonday sun. Consciousness, the feeling of your ability to make the ascension that each day brings you closer and closer to the fullness of its radiation. Cut loose all things of earth that bind you. Know that in love, wisdom, and power, which you accept from your mighty I am presence, is the power that does this transcendent service. Always remind yourself that God in you is your certain victory. The I am presence, which beats your heart, is the light of God that never fails, and that your power by the acceptance of this presence to loose its energy and direct it is limitless. We're going to read that again. Always remember yourself that God. Always remind yourself that God in you is your certain victory. The I am presence, which beats your heart, is the light of God that never fails, and that your power by the acceptance of this presence to loose its energy and direct it is limitless. So, in the same way, as you are expert in whatever it is that you've practiced or what you do, right? You know that you can do this easily. The power of God, or the power to attain God, is really an easy practice. How difficult is to sit and meditate? How difficult is to say Anala, Anala, or to say Om Namah Shivaya, or say Hari Om, or say I am love? How many times can you say that easily throughout the day? I am love, I am love, I am love. Now, that is not any mantra that I know, but it could easily be. What would your mind be like if you said 10,000 times a day, Hari Om, which means I am Hari, or I am God? Hari is one of the many names of God. What would happen to your mind if you said that 10,000 times, 20,000 times a day? I mean, it's pretty easy. I am love, 3 words. Or Om Namah Shivaya, a mantra which means I bow to the self. How difficult is it to say that? There was a time I was able to do 20 to even 25,000 repetitions a day. What they say, applications. What the masters are saying within these books, applications. Apply the divine knowledge. How many times can you say Om Namah Shivaya a day or Hari Om in a day? Because you want to be united with God. You don't need to do all these practices. All you need to do is one, and you will attain. Mantra is probably the easiest way to get to God, because every time you say that, you are evoking God right in front of you. When you say Om Namah Shivaya, you are putting Lord Shiva in front of you. And who is Lord Shiva? Your higher self. Who is Lord Shiva? The higher self within. What is the name of that higher self within each and every one of us? Shiva, the self. So every time you say Om, Om Namah Shivaya, which means I bow to the self within, or I surrender to the self within, you are evoking God. You are evoking God. But only God can evoke God. A dog can't do that. Only God can evoke God. So what happens? What happens is you send out right before your face, right before your own presence, the very image of God. You can't see it yet, but you are doing that exactly. I've mentioned this before, and it is worth mentioning again. The woman, Elizabeth Watt Hughes, invented a machine called the Ediphone. And the Ediphone showed you what it was, the physical appearance of what you said. And the sinister forces definitely took this knowledge off the even the out of the minds and hearts or perception of human beings, because they didn't want you to see that. They didn't want you to see when you start cursing what you actually putting before you. And they certainly didn't want you to see that as you said the mantra, that you evoked God through the power of the spoken word. And it is visible right in front of your face, if you could see it. With the Ediphone, you can see it. They don't want us to see that. They don't want us to see what I just said. There is God. Holy cow. Look at this. I just evoked God into existence. Because that's what's happening. And this is what's also happening. This same God that you evoke through the power of the spoken word, well, it is you. And what, after so many millions of times repeating this, and in the book Japa Yoga that I'll send to anyone free if you want it, just email me and I'll do that. And it's great knowledge, or the science of mantra. They said if you see beloved Shivananda, who's the author of this book, who has an ashram in the Himalaya mountains in Rishikesh, he says if you repeat the mantra 130 million times, God will appear before you and ask you and grant you a boon of your own liking, whatever that might be. Whatever you want, he will say, ask a boon. Now, 130 million times. I thought about this. I said to myself, how long would it take me to do that? How many mantras would I have to do in a day so that I could make this happen? And I figured out, well, about 20,000 mantra a day. If I could fix the day. Now, we got up at 3 o'clock in those days. And we'll be doing again when I open up the ashram for people to come and who can come and stay there. It may be in Hawaii. It may be in a few places around the world. It might be even here in Georgia or New York or California, or all four places: Hawaii, New York, Georgia, California, or all four places. We may have 4 ashrams so that people will just have the opportunity to attain God. But just imagine 25,000 times a day times 365. I calculated that in 15 years, you could accomplish this task. So for somebody who is young as Evan, who's this young man on the screen here, handsome, young, erudite, bibliophile, who loves to gather books, he's only 22 now. So 15 years from now, he'd be what, 27? 37? He could be a God-conscious being. And everybody else here, add 15 years on to your life. And if you put out that effort, Herukuti, good to see you. I was thinking about you, my brother. Yes, sir. You can become God conscious. Now, you could do it faster than that. Even in this muck and mire that we find ourselves in the age of Sodom and Gomorrah, But 15 years, a very short time, because all the time after that, you'll be conscious and you'll be enlightened. You'll be in this ocean of love. That will be your natural state of consciousness. You'll feel like every step you take, you'll be walking into an ocean of love. You'll be living in the ocean of love. Brother Hank, who's our narrator, who's behind the scene, not our narrator, our host, who's behind the scenes. We did a meditation once with the Bufo. It was my first meditation with the Bufo. And I always thought, and I was wrong, that my experience is what everybody else would experience. You know, nothing could have been further from the truth. But as we did this, I just start saying, I am. It just start coming. It's just automatically start coming out my mouth. And Uncle Hank said, "Relax, my brother. Just experience the ocean of love. The ocean of love. You are in the sea of love right now. You're in the sea of love." And I just start relaxing, and and I was in the ocean of love. It was as if the drop, which I was, became the ocean, which I am. And I was aware of every single solitary wave in the ocean. And every single solitary wave was nothing but love. This was a state of consciousness. Until this point, I have not been able to go beyond. I have not. I cannot even imagine something beyond it. Fortunately for me, I've been able to go there many times since then. But even now, I don't know if there's a state beyond that state. And if it is, my God, what awaits us? And y'all need to understand that everybody is going toward this state, whether you know it or not, whether you're in the worst condition or the best condition. My wife would tell me, her grandmother would say to her, there was so much good in the worst of us. You know, like Don Corleone loved his family, you know, but he was a big time gangster. He was the gangster's gangster. He was the man. In real life, that the Don Corleone was Joseph Kennedy. In real life, that was the real Don Corleone, Joseph Kennedy, y'all. Yeah. There was a few other Italians that was, you know, had was glorious in that way, you know. But if you see The Godfather, you cannot help but love Don Corleone. He was the man. But his friends, you know, these were cold-hearted killers. And it wasn't that he wasn't a killer too, because he took out a couple of people. But he understood how to do this game, you know. I would have to say one of the things that I learned, and Brother Hank was speaking to me about this yesterday, to embrace our dark side, you know, and what our dark side wants. Because the more we love it, the more it will transform. And in fact, without our love, it cannot transform. So keep that in mind. Without the love, without us loving our dark side, it doesn't have the energy to transform. It doesn't have the light. It hears within us our criticism of it. It feels that we don't love it. It's only when we begin to love that worst thing about ourselves that we created. You know, didn't like it's not like it's like a child to us. It's like a child to us. It's something we created. And if we don't love it, it cannot transform without our love. It cannot transform without our love. In other words, if we don't begin to love all of ourselves, it cannot transform. And the sad thing about it is we dog ourselves out so much. You know, that's why God didn't give us a third leg, because that third leg would be constantly situated in our behind, kicking our behind, just a kick. Because not only do we criticize others, we criticize ourselves constantly. But when we criticize ourselves, we need to understand that we're criticizing the God force that we are, and we're bringing ourselves down by it. It's like a double whammy, right? All right, let's go on. It is my great joy and privilege to continue in the association with my beloved brother, Saint Germain, and pouring forth through my conscious radiation a definite assistance to the students who can accept the instructions of Saint Germain. This will continue during the entire year of 1934. Do not misunderstand me. I am pouring out to all mankind, but in this radiation to the students, I am privileged to give a special service. So he's given us a special, he's given not only those who were there, but everyone reading this information now, almost 100 years later. And what are we from 1934? 9 years? It'll be 100 years. But he said that this dispensation will be given to us also. That even as we read it, it's amazing. That was 100 years ago. That's like a day to them. 100 years is like a day to the ascended masters, as I was told. They speak about this in the Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. You know, y'all, I got to say this. Being on the path, traveling to the Himalayas, traveling to meet spiritual masters, whether they're in Arabia, Persia, Tibet, South America, Central America, all like this, right? This is the greatest adventure you could ever have. You'll be meeting people all over the place. I mean, you'll be meeting masters, and it might even appear at some point on your journey as you move higher and higher and higher, you yourself become that master. You know, one of these days, and those days will soon, that day is soon, I'm going to do a seminar to meet every master on the face of the planet Earth that I hear about and that I'm directed to by other masters. Because when you go to masters and you say, look, I'm on a pilgrimage to meet other masters, they will tell you who the real masters are and that you can meet. They would say, go check out this one. He got a great ashram and he's like this, he's like that. He's a real master. And one of the things that you will experience, oftentimes these masters have, where you can come in and talk to them now. Like there's like a time where they give darshan. And Americans, especially around the world, Americans most especially, then you may come to such a place that the people will be in the waiting room to go see the master, right? There might be 20, 30, 40 people waiting. But if an American comes in, they just immediately are let right in. Why? I asked this question because the Americans are only coming to ask for blessings. They're only coming to ask for spiritual blessings, is what the master is there for. But the other people, especially in India, they're asking for wives. They're asking for to get to America or get to England or get to somewhere where they can make money. And that's why, because I saw this situation. I'm like over and over again. I'm like, all these people out there waiting, but when I come, you just let me straight in. Why? Because you're only coming to get what I got. I'm here to give. They're coming to get this dust on the floor that I give to them if they want it. Marriage, sons, daughters, wives, husbands, healing disease and all like that. Not one American comes and asks for that. All y'all ever come for is to ask for spiritual progress, to be blessed, to get, to have more motivation and intensity on your spiritual progress. I thought that was really interesting. Kind of funny too. But this is the journey, y'all. And I'm telling y'all, it's intense and it is glorious. You ain't gonna have a greater adventure in your life than seeking out masters around the world, or going to live in the Himalayas, or going up in the Tibet where it's cold sometimes, to the place where Lord Shiva lives, Mount Kailas, and places like that, hidden places in South America, and so forth and so on. This is a glorious destiny, and it won't be long before I'll have a seminar doing this very thing. The seminar might last 6 months. It is definitely going to be for those who have the time and the money to travel like that. And I think that when it's over, you will not be the same person when you get back to your home, wherever that might be. This is something I've been looking to do for a long time, and we're going to do it. And some other things too, like there's some of these dungeons in Africa, and we did this in here in America. We found a burial ground, and the people in Siddha Yoga, who are what you'll call Siddha cubs, right? Babysitters, like you got a lion, right? He doesn't have the full power of a grown lion, but he's a lion cub, and he will grow to be a full-fledged lion. It's the same thing with Sitter Cubs, like in our lineage. At this point, I'm a Sitter Cub. Maybe I'm a teenager right about now, or maybe 12, just before. And, not with the full power. But Sitter Cubs always become full-fledged sitters. And so we found the burial ground here in New York City. Well, I'm not in New York right now. I'm in Georgia and I'm in Atlanta. But in New York, we found this burial ground, and it was all in the news and everything. And they put this big kind of tent like over it, like you see what people do, play tennis and stuff like that. And where they have outdoor sports, it's a huge tent type situation. And it was about a dozen of us. We came and we said, look, we want to do something to release the souls that are in this place. So we went in there and we did the Guru Gita. The Guru Gita is a super duper high powered chant that accomplishes anything. We practice it every day. And so I will say again to those who are listening, if you want to start practicing the same techniques that are being done inside these super secret retreats of the Ascended Masters and the Siddha Masters, we are doing them in the morning. We're doing it for 2 hours and 15 minutes and every day. And these teachings empower you. These practices give you protection and empower you day by day. So we go inside there and we start doing the Guru Gita. And you could feel and see souls that have been there, because time is different on that side. To them, it was like overnight. But some of them are trapped in there. Some of these souls are still trapped in there. It is my intention in the future to go to some of the dungeons in Africa, taking this holy knowledge with us and doing a whole yagnas. Yagnas are fire ceremonies to release these souls from their bondage, that they're in there and they're locked in there. Some of them don't even know that they're locked in there. Some of them don't even know that hundreds of years have passed, right? And we do the Guru Gita and a yagna to release them. The yagna is a powerful fire ceremony that basically benefits the whole world when you do it. And a great deal of merit is attained when you do it too. So imagine going to some of these slave dungeons, cleaning them out, and then, a bunch of us with Brahmins that you got to pay. I paid them, right? To do these yagnas, to release these souls so they can move on to their next life. And some of them might even ascend. This would be a great event, a really great event, a really great event. They're trying to lock these activities down, y'all. We're moving into the times where if you're spiritual and you want to do spiritual things, you can be arrested and jailed. It was like this at other times. Right now in Mount Shasta, they make it illegal for you to go and do spiritual practices. Why in the world, in the most holiest place in America, would they do that? Yeah. So when we were up in Mount Shasta, we had to do these things secretly. Then no one could know that we were going up there to do it, and we had to do it secretly. Mount Shasta, the holiest place in America. And sadly, most Americans know nothing about it. Many Europeans and foreigners know, but Americans seem to know nothing about it. Let's continue. Imagine that though, y'all. Imagine traveling to Africa and doing something as powerful as that, and inviting everybody and everybody who wants to come, and then feeding them all. Whether it's hundreds or thousands of people, it always works. No matter how much food you bring, it's always enough to feed everybody to their fill. This is something that will be a glorious adventure in the future, and we will do it. Let's continue. Let's get back to Jesus and not my wranglings. With my love, I enfold you. With my light, I clothe you. With my energy, I sustain you, that you may go forth dauntless in your quest for happiness and the perfecting of yourselves and the world. I trust this will bring a radiation that you may feel at will throughout the year, and that your attainment may bring you boundless joy. I am the enlightening, revealing presence, manifest with full power, Jesus the Christ. Saint Germain says, that's the end of Jesus's discourse there. Saint Germain says, I wish to convey my enfolding love as a gift to each of the beloved students, for love is the greatest gift that can be given. Now we are moving to chapter 28, That was a short chapter. I think it's like only 5 pages or something. Most of them are 10 pages. But that's glorious gift. For those who don't know, during the time of Jesus' life, Saint Germain was Joseph. So an ascended master who Saint Germain has been for, from our knowledge, from what we read in these scriptural books, right? Saint Germain has been helping humanity for 70,000 years. 70,000 years. And his guru was also the guru of Jesus. That's what he said in this very work here. He said his master was also my master, and his name will be revealed later. And his name is Sanat Kumara. And there are 4 Kumaras. And Sananda is one of the names of the 4 Kumaras, right? Sanatananda and is a third of the brothers. And I always, now, Jesus's name now is Sananda. And I wondered to myself, I said, could one of the brothers have taken the birth of Jesus? Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I just wondered, could one of the brothers, because I mean, they're super duper holy. I mean, they're beyond. When I was in India, there was this hot springs right down the road from where the ashram was, and we would go down there and take baths in this hot springs. It was like it came from under the ground. It was like a holy place where people from all over India and even the world would come and take baths in this hot springs. It purified you and did this type of stuff. And there was times that the Kumaras was there in their baby bodies. They're in the scriptures inside their their childlike bodies, and they would roam like that. They'd be naked and they just would roam like that, and they would see the Kumaras come there to take baths. And so you knew that this place was super duper holy. There's great adventures on the path, y'all. Supernatural events happen all the time. Anyway, let us continue. Are there any questions? Does anyone from the Zoom have any questions? Does anyone, do you have any questions, Evan? I see you soaking it up.
Well, I don't have any questions, but I was taking notes.
Okay, cool. All right. So we have nobody in the Zoom, and so we'll just continue. Invocation. Discourse, chapter 28. Invocation. Thou mighty, infinite, active presence of the Christ everywhere, we bow before thy majesty and power. Assert thy dominion in the hearts and minds of every individual throughout the land, causing the wondrous perfection to express everywhere. I bring you greetings of love, the comprehending consciousness and mastery from the great hosts of ascended masters who have looked with favor upon my humble efforts to dispense the light, and who bring to you their love and clothe you in their mantle of light this Christmas day. So this was the very next day. So first you had Jesus, and the next day was Christmas. And so it's Saint Germain speaking. All right. The Discourse. O love divine, in the magic power of transmutation, we assert that power in cleansing and purifying the world of human mistakes and human creations. Thou art eternal victory, the golden pathway of attainment for every student of the light, and through thy transcendent power, the Kumaras, which are the 4 brothers I was just talking about, start forth their mighty radiation for the blessing of the earth and mankind for the entire year of 1934. Thus will mankind find many desirable changes taking place, great health, happiness, and prosperity, bringing restored. Let me read that. Thus will mankind find many desirable changes taking place, greater health, happiness, and prosperity being restored, a deeper sense of love, and a greater desire for justice in the hearts of mankind everywhere. In many channels, human selflessness will be greatly transcended through the feeling of pure love, which will generate within the heart enabling them to govern the human sense and cause them to involuntarily desire to bless. We need to speak on this. I remember one time seeing Michael Jackson. He was in his studio with his people, right? I don't know what video they were doing, but that they were doing a video, and I was watching this video, and it was the behind the scenes, the things that he was doing. Everybody, he had did his little part, and he was up on the some kind of I don't know, bridge, and everybody that walked by, he would say, "God bless you, God 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 bless you." Think about how many times, and look at his life. Look at how much light he brought into the world, what type of person he was. I also remember one time he was talking about how Tommy Mottola was like stealing from him and trying to say things, and it was like difficult for him to even criticize the guy. The guy was a thief, and it was just so difficult for him to just say that he's a dirty dog, and he didn't really say that, But I saw like Mike, in my own opinion, right, was a light in the world. He was a light in the world, and but we could take that power in the same way that we be cursing people or talking about people and calling them dirty dogs, and y'all know what we do, right? The human things that we humans do. We could also say, "God bless you." We could even intensify, "God bless you with the light of my heart. God bless you with love and light and power." God, everybody, imagine what your life would be like as you out in the street. Imagine a street like New York City, and you stand on one of the corners, maybe on 59th Street. For those who haven't been there, it's always exciting. It's always people out all the time. That's New York. And just say, "God bless everyone in this circle." Columbus Circle, I'm talking about. Or, "God bless everyone in this park." That would be Central Park right there. "God bless everyone in every building going down Fifth Avenue or Eighth Avenue or any of the avenues that stream out of that circle. God bless you. New York is a wonderful place to visit. Wonderful place to visit, especially if you're young and you want excitement and adventure and all kind of things that you want to do. But just imagine blessing everybody you come in contact with, even if you do it mentally. So practice this. Form the habit of every time you walk to and fro, say mentally to everyone that you meet, "God bless you." Even before you meet them, just think about it. What power that is. Just imagine what power that would be. Everyone you meet, imagine that kind of practice. What would it do to your mind? What would it do to your heart? What would it do to your life? What kind of adventure would come out of that? You're just this regular type of guy or girl. You're moving to and fro and doing whatever it is that you do. And as you meet any living soul or even pass them by, God bless you. I have heard that 60% of these blessings come back to you. Of course, you don't do it for that reason, but the ways of the world are extremely mysterious, y'all. Extremely mysterious. It is my wish that every one of the students send forth this truth in conscious radiation at least once a day. Now, what was that sense? Okay, let me read that paragraph again. In many channels, human selfishness will be greatly transcended through the feeling of pure love, which will generate within the heart, enable them to govern the human sense, and cause them to involuntarily to desire to bless. Okay. It is my wish that every one of the students send forth this truth in conscious radiation at least once a day. God, the mighty I am presence, is governing with invincible power everywhere in the hearts and minds of mankind. That's a decree, y'all. God, the mighty I am presence, is governing with invincible power everywhere in the hearts and minds of mankind. Those masters from Venus, that's the Kumaras. The Kumaras are not from this planet. They're from the planet Venus. And the planet Venus is way above this planet in spiritual practices, way above, right? That's why they call it the evening star or the light star. Anyway, those masters from Venus who visited the royal Teuton and who will again visit it this New Year's will start forth a definite activity to consume the subtle attempts to generate and bring into outer activity, another war. This was just before World War II, right? And war is the epitome of evil. It is in war that you will do things that you would never do in reality. So many people do things in war that they cannot live with themselves afterwards. And that's why so many veterans come home and they kill themselves, or they're on drugs, or they're totally dysfunctional. They can't find a life at all. Shambhala is loosening its power, which for many years have been drawn within its own compass. The golden city, whose rays are sent in all directions, like the spokes from a wheel, is performing a service for mankind that it alone can do. If mankind could know and understand these activities for what they are, such marvelous changes would take place in the outer world as even the advanced would hardly conceive possible. That was a jewel, y'all. And I will also tell you, as you go on your journey seeking God to attain ascension, moving to and fro to meet masters, or be even staying sedentary where your master may live, his ashram or whatever, many phenomena will befall upon you. You're just going to experience these things. It's part of the path. It's just how it goes. It's part of the path. And it is glorious adventure. It is so, man, let me tell you, it is a glorious adventure. And I'm a person who really does love adventure. But man, I was already having a lot of adventure in my life. But when I went to India and was with the guru, it just took off. Anyway, on New Year's Day, the cosmic wheel of progress will have reached a point where, in personal activities, much of the free will of individuals can be set aside. This brings a joy and hope unspeakable to the consciousness of those serving from these transcendent spheres of activities. I would like that somebody asked a question on that, but as no one is asking a question, what is it like for the free will to be set aside? What does that mean? You know, what it means is whatever you do, and you still will be able to do whatever it is you want to do, your retribution will be immediate. That's what it means. So if you go out and you do wickedness, you lie, you do this, that, and the other, you kill, you're gonna be killed in short order. If you murder someone, you'll be murdered in short order. You steal, 10 things will be stolen from you in short order, and probably that day. That's what it means by free will being set aside. Generally, what happens, you may steal something today and you won't feel the effects of it until another lifetime, right? And who knows when that lifetime will be, which lifetime it will be. But what's happening now is you do wrong, and wrong is going to fall upon you that day that you did wrong. This is what free will being set aside means, from my understanding. Thus, the student of life, can you understand the magnificent assistance that is yours to be had by stilling the outer and reaching forth for it? I plead with you, dear students, shut your mind against the ignorance and inharmonious suggestions of human beings everywhere. I say to every one of you, freedom in every way stands at your door, if you will but keep your personality harmonized and refuse to accept inharmonious, sinister suggestions from the atmosphere and from those you contact in mortal form. It is imperative that this be done if you wish to bring into your world joy, beauty, opulence, and perfection of every kind. I think it's prudent to say at this point, practice this. Practice and see what comes about in your world. Practice and see what comes about in your world. Practice this statement. Practice practice this. It is imperative that this be done if you wish to bring in your world joy, beauty, opulence, and perfection of every kind. Practice what he just said. What did he just say? Let's read it again. Thus, O students of light, can you understand that the magnificent system that is yours to be had by stilling the outer and reaching forth for it? I plead with you, dear students, Shut your mind against the ignorance and inharmonious suggestions of the human beings everywhere. I say to every one of you, freedom in every way stands at your door if you will but keep your personality harmonized and refuse to accept an harmonious sinister suggestions from the atmosphere from which you contact in mortal form. In mortal form, everyone you meet. It is imperative that this be done if you wish to bring into your world joy, beauty, opulence, and perfection of every kind. When I was like 18, I started practicing this. When I was 18, everything in my world changed. Then when I got 19, I was like, I'm going to live like this. I was walking on two paths, but I said, I'm going to live like this. And I made up rules that I was going to live by. Now, I wasn't a holy roller by any stretch of the imagination, you know, but I had these rules, and my friends were gangsters and killers, you know, and I just had these rules, and the rule was these were the things I wasn't going to do, and these were the things that I wasn't going to allow to be done, and the rules that I set up protected me and brought me closer and closer to God. It was like I was walking on two paths, and it came a point that I had to choose. Well, which way you gonna go? And the police were after me, so I really had to make a choice. But before I was caught, and I wasn't caught, not at that time anyway, I had made a decision. You know, if things get tight, I'm gonna go visit all the ascended masters that I wanted to visit. You know, I got the money, so I made up a plan that if it just so happens that I can peep them coming down on me, that I would go here, I would go there, I would go to the places where the spiritual masters were, and to seek out their knowledge. And it came to pass that that this did happen. And the first thing I did was I went upstate New York to meet a master. And after that, you know, it was deep. It was really, really deep. And he said to me, I'm leaving to go back to India. Come with me to India. And a whole nother adventure began. And it was a glorious one. So I would say to you, decide you're going to live a life that you would like to live. Make a decision. You know, I want to be this guy. I want to be this girl. I want to act like this. I want people to see me like this. And the way they'll see me like this is because I decide to be like this. I'll decide to change my personality, to be a sweeter person, to be more modest, you know, to be more kind, that my words are sweeter, that my feelings are more sensitive to the feelings of other people, that I even stop little things that's not so little with us, like cursing, or even little lies that we say, you know, like we say white lies, you know. What's the difference between a white lie and a black lie? Nothing. Well, actually, there is something. But what is the difference between a lie that doesn't, you know, hurt anyone and like a lie for war? You know, like we been told lies of war before, like or lies of a scamdemic, where they want to shoot you up with vaccines that's basically going to kill you and bring you down. You know, like lies like that, like Fauci put out to everybody, go take this vaccine, knowing damn well that vaccine was going to do harm to you, you know, and that it did nothing to help you with COVID. And in fact, that if you took the vaccine, you'll get COVID faster, right? He's on trial now for lying to people. What about the lies of wars? Like how they went in and they destroyed one of the greatest countries in the world, Gaddafi's country, right? Where they was giving so much bounty to the people in this country. It was probably one of the greatest countries in the world. The country had profit sharing with their people. So that the money that the country made, they dealt it out to the people in the country in their land. What did they give them? Like, I think it was like $150,000 every year to every man, woman, and child. And when I say child, I mean baby born, right? We talking about the Middle East, right? No, we talking about Africa, Gaddafi, right? Gaddafi wanted, you know why they really took him out? And what was the lies they told him? Haven't they been telling the same lie for thousands of years, and most people don't get it? Even in the Bible, they told the same lie. Go kill these people because they're unrighteous. So who's more unrighteous? You going to some foreign land to murder people? In the Bible, the so-called God says that go kill everybody there. Kill the cattle, kill the women, and kill the children. And I said to myself, really? The cattle was evil too, huh? And the children and the women? Just kill everything. That sounds like a bloodthirsty God to me, you know. And I said to myself, what kind of God would order his people to go and murder other people? And not just kill the men that's fighting, kill the women, kill the cattle, and kill the children? I found that curious, to say the least. Let's continue. It is not our intent or desire to intrude a single thing upon your free will, but oh, the joy that leaps within our hearts when we see the students taking hold, comprehending, and applying these transcendent laws, which we know means their certain victory. And I may reiterate what we have said before. There is no single thing so vicious in human activity as the personality or suggestion which would try to turn the student from the truth and light, which would be his freedom. And as I reiterated what we have said before, there is no single thing so vicious in human activity as the personality or suggestion which would try to turn the student from the truth and light, which would be his freedom. In connection with this mighty cosmic activity, the student should work with great determination, consuming all past and present inharmonious creations. Every time your thought and desires reach forth in this manner, a great current of energy will come to your assistance to sustain and help you. This is part of the present amazing assistance sent forth to the earth. The silent watcher has waited for 200,000 years for the cosmic will to reach this point, coming New Year's. Again, I assert that never in the history of mankind has such transcendent activity been ready to rush to your assistance. I plead with you, O beloved students, it is not worth all your determined effort to act in accordance with this great blessing, which makes your struggle for freedom from human self-creation so much easier. Beloved student, how deeply my heart rejoices to see within you the intense desire for the light and your determined effort to apply these unerring laws, which will, which, which will, as you surely give your freedom, which will as surely give you your freedom as you apply them. I wish to thank all the students for their joyous desires for the limitless distribution of unveiled mysteries and the magic present. At this time, only those two books were out. This book that I'm reading now had not even come out, but the unveiled mystery and the magic presence was out, and they were distributing it all over the world. And as we finish this with the play of consciousness, we're going to go back and start this series all over again, starting from the very beginning of book 1. So we're going to go from book 1 to book 4, then we're going to do the play of consciousness, and we're going to go back to book 1. And what you'll be reading in those other books, there are many laws. The things that we call miracles, they call laws, and these laws are at our disposal. Some of them are right in our reach. The only thing about these laws and us being able to manifest what we call miracles is practicing. I got many books on many supernatural phenomena, and the whole key to all of these things is simply practicing them. If you practice them, you will get mastery in what you call miracles, but they are just simply laws. And the more you get your body, the more you get yourself in this realm of purity, the easier it would be for you to manifest things like that through the laws. What did the Lord take? In other words, what is the law of thermodynamics? What is the law of gravity? What is the law of intuition? What are these laws in reality? They are laws available to all of us. We just have to practice them. And when we practice them, we gain mastery. If we don't practice them, we don't gain mastery. These 3 books are filled with laws, and they keep telling you this. They may seem like miracles to others, but they are laws to them. In this human state that we put ourselves in, we can practice to get out of them. Excuse me. And we can practice the laws that make us godlike. I feel greatly blessed this day of devotion to the Christ, to feel the love from the many pouring out to me. And I assure you, blessed ones, that I shall come back to you with all the loving power at my command to assist, enlighten, and bless you. In the special service that Jesus has decided to give forth, you are surely blessed indeed. Try to feel this wonderful truth with deepest intense feelings you can command. Open your arms, hearts, and minds to the glory of this radiation. And as you can do this more fully and completely, you will see how quickly all disturbing and limiting conditions about you will disappear. I plead with you, beloved students, do not continue to limit yourself by human concepts. Declare and feel your amazing ability to use these laws and direct this mighty energy to your freedom and perfection. Try to realize that your human form is not a dense creation, difficult to manipulate. Try to feel it trans Try to feel it a transparent substance that follows your slightest direction. Speak to your body, command it to bring strong, receptive, only receptive. Let's read that again. Speak to your body, command it to be strong, receptive only to the ascended consciousness, to be a perfect expression of divine power of the mighty I am, and to take on its beauty of form and expression. Review your experience. Review your experience, the powerful determination you have had at times to accomplish success in the outer activity of things, and then realize how much more powerful your determination can generate to attain your eternal freedom. Here is another jewel. Believe me, my beloved ones, when I say to you, there is but human creations that stand between you and your freedom and from all humanity. That creation is no greater an obstacle than you accept it to be. If you take away from that creation its power to limit you any hour, any day, you 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 may joyously step through the veil into the world of the electronic presence. So beautiful, so joyous, so filled with dazzling light of the glorious presence, and move there forward in light of eternal glory. Then, as you step back through the human veil for service in the outer activity, you will continue to feel the glory of the transcendent beings which you are. Then naught of your own outer condition or those about you will touch you or affect you in any way. My whole being thrills with the joyous anticipation for you, as I know with a definite certainty your attainment to any who would let the suggestion of the ignorance of other human beings turn them aside from the path. I wish to say, just remember what awaits you, what is within you, your ability to achieve and be. What awaits you, what is, I wish to say, just remember what awaits you, what it is within your ability to achieve and be. Remember again and again that as you grow in more and more intense acceptance of your mighty I am present, the outer problems will have seemed to so terrifying will surely fade from appearance. Thus, not only is your problem solved, but every step gains in this way does not reappear. Instead, it becomes your eternal freedom. If it is financial freedom you crave, I plead with you to take the outer activity of your mind off the appearance and place it upon your mighty I am presence, the only giver of all the mighty opulence there is. Stand firm and determined in this, and you will have all the money you desire to use. Life does not limit you. Opulence does not limit you. Life does not limit you. Opulence does not limit you. Love does not limit you. Therefore, why allow your human limiting concepts to bind you longer? Beloved children of the light, arise in the mighty glory of your true being. Go forth, a mighty conquering presence. Be the light of God that never fails. Move, clothed in the light of transcendent glory to your God self, and be free. The benediction. May I, mighty I am presence, transcendent in this Christ activity, we give to thee our errant thanks and gratitude for thy glory, for thy love, glory, freedom, and outer consciousness. Now outer conscious ability and power to accept the fullness of thy glory made manifest in the outer activity of our lives, that we stand with determination in the light, directed by thy wisdom, and forever sustained by thy transcendent love, accorded within our hearts. Almighty I am, Almighty I am, Almighty I am. Discourse 29. So we're going to stop it there. We're going to stop it there. Next week, we're going to go over Discourse 29. Does anyone have any questions or comments? You, Brother Hank? Or anyone in the group? Any questions or comments? No questions, no comments. So you almost got a lot out of this. Brother Hank, you got any questions or comments?
Yeah, I got comments. I'm going to show these pictures of Mount Shasta. I'll post those. Let me just put the crystal back up. Put the pyramid, the crystal, rotating crystal back up. Hold on, y'all. Getting tangled up in my own wires here. All right, there it is. All right, so check this out, family. This is up in Northern California. You know, you got a lot of folks, a substantial number of folks that don't travel enough. You know, and I'm listening to Lalji talk about his global travels. Here's a view from Mount Shasta.
Wow. Yeah. Snow-capped mountains.
Now, family, inside the mountain is a whole nother reality. There's secret entrances into the mountain that when you go in, the aging radiation that we call old age don't happen until after 1,500 years. So the young Evan, he would be too young to start school. According to the teachings of, I read from Hollow Earth, you start kindergarten at 50 years of age. Because we mature slowly, men. Women, I'm not sure what age inside the Hollow Earth they begin school, but we are considered like surface savage monkeys scrambling on the rooftop, acting a fool because of genetic manipulation by extraterrestrials that the Bible, some of them are considered gods because they were so advanced. Only, the primitive humans would say, oh, well, only a god could do something like that, like fly through the sky. So these are pictures of Mount Shasta because we're living on the Earth's rooftop. 60 to 80 years of age because of the ancient nuclear wars between Atlantis, Lemuria, India. So people became dumber, lived shorter lifetimes, and shrunk from 20 to 30 feet tall down to 5 and 6 feet tall. So you have these photos here. I just want to share that.
There's a city inside this mountain called
Right.
Taylor. And in fact, on your WhatsApp, Hank, you talk about a guy. They took it down, and I don't know if they took it down again, but you put it back up, or someone put it back up, where he found the entrance into the city, and it was a glorious city in there, but it had been abandoned, and he saw the bodies of the skeletal bodies of some of the beings that were there. And now I'm wondering what happened to them. If this is the same Talos, did they allow them to move further into the interior of the earth? Did someone come and have a war with them? I'm really wondering. I maybe not a war. I'm really wondering, because I just read, when I was up there, and well, not just read, but some years ago, I don't know how many years ago it was. I was up there and we were having a talk with the Ascended Masters, with a couple of the Ascended Masters from there. It was a channel talk by Aurelia Louise Jones. She has since passed away. I think this might have been 2005 or something along those lines. And when so hopefully it's not what was shown in the thing, in the video that you had on your WhatsApp. But I found that very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think that's highly unlikely. I think it just might have been like like a large city and you have dead ends and somebody came through the manhole cover from the outside and said, oh wow, look at this dead end street. But it looks so glorious because all the rest of it is incredible compared to surface savage beliefs, technology, fuel systems. We are really in the Stone Age. We are considered New Age Neanderthals by the rest of the universe. We are in the Stone Age, family. And the Ascended Masters have thrown a rope and said, this rope, embrace your I am to get a rope out of this mucky chaos. But we are not the latest thing since Peanuts. We are we savages. We savages.
Yeah.
In every way of thinking, we've been mutated to functional beasts.
And I second that, because the way of life here is such. My son told me yesterday that he's been going out with a girl who revealed to him that she was a vampire. And although these things are thought to be you know, just fairy tales and stuff. I assure you, they are not. There was a series, a TV series that came on back in the days, in the 70s it was, and it was about this vampire named Collins. That was the last name of them. Collins was the last name, and I forget his first name. And the name of the series was called Dark Shadows. I got something caught in my eye. It's called Dark Shadows. Did you remember that series, Hank? You remember seeing that series? It was called Dark
Yeah,
Shadows.
I think they were talking about the ruling classes in that movie.
Yeah,
I mean, that
and
TV series. This used to be in black and white. Barnabas Collins, and he
yeah,
just couldn't get enough of killing folks off, you know.
yeah, and he was a vampire, right? And the truth of the matter was, they brought his family who changed their they changed their name from Collins to Todd. But Hollywood actually brought them into Hollywood to give the stories and give the truth of their family history. So although this was reported as a fictional story or some fictional thing, it was in fact the truth. So they put on this Dog Family Secrets of a vampire who was a real person, and they changed their last name to Todd from Collins because it had become so infamous. And the one who was telling this was a guy named John Todd, who spoke on that his great 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 grandfather was this I forget the guy's first name. It eludes me. Nonetheless, there are these type of beings out here, y'all, and they are really serious. They don't play. We're playing. They don't play. They would, as I had mentioned before, the Hampstead cover-up that happened in England, where these kids they came out and told what they were doing, and where were they hiding? Not the kids, but the organization, the satanic organization. Where would they hide? What would be the most likely place to hide? Was inside a church, and they had a school inside this church. And the kid says, we don't learn like other kids learn. All we learn is sex. And on Wednesday, they were lots and lots of sex. And what the boy was, I think, 5, and his sister was like maybe 8 or 9. They were very intelligent. And they told what they were doing to them. And so wickedness is rampant. And I myself, as I said before, I went to this satanic house. A so-called friend sent me there to look at it because they had some problems with their roof. She rented it to these people. It was a Nigerian mixed couple. The girl was from Nigeria and the guy was white. And they had 2 children too that they homeschooled because of course they wouldn't want them to go to school. And when I went inside their house, all the walls were painted black, and they had nothing but pictures of satanic pictures of vampires, pictures of all kind of wicked things. And the place was clean, and they even had a coffin within their house. So God wanted me to see this, I guess to give me further knowledge, because I didn't believe that it was that deep, but it was right here in Georgia. It was right in Georgia. It wasn't in Atlanta, but it was in Georgia. What you need to know is that there are legions. There are legions. When the people came from the so-called pilgrims who came from Europe, they came because of religious persecution. The thing about it was they weren't persecuting any religions in Europe except Luciferians, and that's what they was getting away from. And so, and half the people on the Mayflower, half the people on that Mayflower was Luciferians escaping religious persecution. So when they came here, one of the first things they established in the Constitution is freedom of religion. So nobody could stop them from doing their wickedness. And these are the things that we're beset with, starting a new nation. Half the people in your nation are Luciferians. And make no doubt about it, they got plans, and they're unleashing their plans. And we don't have plans. We're just moving, to and fro like morons. And understand this. And this is why you need to do your spiritual practices, do covetures that protect you. John Ramirez, John Todd is one of the high elite families of the Luciferian. John Ramirez was in a low life satanic family, and he lived in the Bronx, and he'd tell you straight away. Jesus saved him, and he would tell you straight away. He said, if you got no protection, if you doing spiritual stuff and spiritual practices, and you have no protection, or you think you love God and you got no protection, we love to take down spiritual families. We will target one person and take you down like nobody's business with ease, you and your family. And if we don't watch ourselves, that's what we'll see happening. And then the way it works is they just let one person into your family that will wreak havoc and just bring everyone down. It happens all the time, and we don't even know that it's happening. We just think this one is bugging or that one is bugging, but it's just deep. I did a seminar on this last September, and on the sinister forces. We are doing spiritual work, but I just said, look, so that you'll know what's happening, we're going to do a one-day seminar on the sinister forces and how rampant they are. And as I said many times, the FBI says that 86% of all the people in Congress, which includes everything from the presidents to the judiciary, 86% of them are Luciferians. A word to the wise. All right, my brother. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay. So we're going to start reading chapter right after Bishop gets killed on the Zoom.
Yeah, hold on a second. Listen, family. You got to learn to start coming out of your slave mentality as far as being complacent and post-traumatic slave syndrome, unless you just absorb it. Because there's information out here, you just can't sit here and say, okay, whatever you say, boss, I ain't thinking about nothing. Dick Gregory said to me, question everything. And unless y'all ain't reading or you don't know how to use the internet, I came across this article on internet called, it was by Montauk Chia, and I'm going to post it momentarily. And do you know what he is now charging money to learn how to use violet light? Okay? To know how to use purple light that we're talking about here for free. Here's a picture. I hope you can see it. Let me see. All right, here, let me make it bigger. Okay, here it is. I'm going to read it to you for those of you who are farsighted. I'm going to take my glasses, look over. The cosmic violet light is actually the internal structure of the human body cells. So when you receive it or capture it through practice, all your cells awaken and your energy comes alive for a higher functioning and deeper spiritual awareness. Saint Germain been saying this for decades. In the framework of his online course on Taoist breathing exercises, Master Montauk Chia will perform an energy and violet light live transmission on the 2nd of April. This transmission will take place during the practice class on breathing techniques with questions and answers. If you want to join us online for the energy transmission, please follow this link. This course includes pre-recorded lessons on Taoist breathwork, live energy, and violet light transmission. Live sessions with 90-minute practice, Q&A with Master Montauk Chia, and lifetime access to all the provided materials. So take a hint, y'all. Sometimes our miseducated brothers and sisters got to get validation from somebody outside our community. Because I remember when I was doing foot massages on a beach chair, Brother Lalji at African Arts Festival, traumatized Negroes was laughing. Look at how he's rubbing those toes and feet. And then when a white woman came and got in the chair, the complacent Negroes lined up. They lined up like, okay, good enough for Bosch, good enough for me. But it's so deeply subconscious, it's crazy. You know how deep mind control is, because we're functioning only at 3% of our actual awareness. So you can be jacked up from the floor up and not even be aware of it, because it's so deeply ingrained by your mama's 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 mama's. That's how deep the transmission and the miseducation and the mental slavery goes. And then you get scared of psychedelics and then say, oh, well, I'll wait till my doctor gives me the prescription for some psychedelics. And brothers and sisters, it's coming down the pipe. They're going to make it so that you can't get entheogens. Don't take it from nature. Don't grow your own shrooms. Go to your nearest doctor and get your insurance so that it will cover the $300 charge per bottle or maybe per pill. And then the complacent, mind-controlled people will say, okay, if my doctor says it's good, then I'm going to take it. And boom, Granny will be having a psychedelic trip in the living room because doctor said it was good. You got to break free of the mental slavery. Yo, this is real talk, y'all.
This is absolutely real talk.
Mind control like a mofo going back 400 years. And they studied what they call Negroes. They studied and said, okay, let's crossbreed them with this one. Let's mix them all up together. I mean, look at me. I'm a psychedelic blend of European, African, Native American, and God only knows how many other ET strands. All right? So you better take note, and let me put the banner up, because y'all should be donating to Brother Lalji for sacrificing his time. Y'all start giving up some donations to the brother. It's right here. I don't know which one connects, but go ahead and tap in. Also, let me see. I had found in the chat where there's a brother named Dennis Sperling, and he posted an article about a Muslim brother from the Nation of Islam. Listen to this, family. Listen to this. Hold on a second. I gotta move this. I'm gonna move one of these cell phones away from me because I hear a little echo chamber on that thing. All right. I'll just put it back there. Into one. Listen. He pulled into a gas station. The Muslim brother from the Nation of Islam. He was NOI, or fruit of Islam. He was a soldier. He pulled into a gas station, and behind him, and he was in North Carolina near a all-black college. And as he looked through his rearview mirror, family, listen to this. He took notice that this young black brother came up in his BMW and started talking to these two college girls and offered them to pay for their gas and pump their gas for free. So he was watching closely because he said his intuition was saying, take note. And then he noticed that the guy was briefly cutting his eye over in the gas station to a van with men in the van with dark colored clothing. So he got out of his car that was in front of the college girl's car and walked up and struck conversation. And he noticed a tattoo. He made mention of the tattoo because it was only found it's a tattoo that's made in jail. And he questioned the guy, and the guy smirked, and he walked back to his BMW. I'm just condensing it, and drove off. Fathers and mothers out here, you're not schooling your college age and high school kids to the dangers of the jungle. Here was a man that was setting up the women to be kidnapped for either sex traffic or body parts. As I said in the chat, it wasn't Europeans going into the jungles of Africa. Those were misguided Africans that sold off their neighbors for 30 pieces of silver or less, or maybe for a gun with no bullets, or a rifle with a broken firing pin. That's what was sold off, man. The ones that didn't come over here, they were sold off by their neighbors. Nowadays, you got misdirected, cross-eyed people selling off their own kind in sex traffic. So he had the article and he said, teach fathers and daughters, teach fathers and mothers, teach your daughters and sons about the sex trafficking that's going on. And don't accept free candy from strangers because it's really a serious situation out here. I just want to share that, Lalji, because folks are sleeping. We're sleeping.
There's this. I'd like to vet you back on that same concept. Can you put this right there for me? There's this girl. She got in an Uber, right? And this was a smart woman. She keeps her gun with her, right? She had like an automatic. It looked like a 38 automatic. Could have been a 32, but it wasn't small. And so this guy, he's the Uber driver, says, he gets on the phone. He says, "I got one for you. You know, this is going to be a good one, you know?" And so she's listening to this conversation. She reaches into her purse right away, right? Just got her hand on it. And then she noticed that this guy, the Uber driver, right, didn't make the turn where he should have made. And she said, "You know, you made the wrong turn, right? I mean, you didn't make the turn you should have made, right?" And he says, "I got a shortcut." Then he's saying something to the guy again that he's getting ready to take her to. She jumped straight up to him, put that gun right in the back of his head like this, and said, "You gonna be stupid, or you want to live today? Take me back to take me to my destination." And she had that gun right up in his head, right pressed up against his neck. And he told her, "You don't have to hold the gun like that." She said, just shut up and take me to my destination. But he was about to siphon her off into the sex trafficking industry that's billions. And what most people don't know, there is 2,000 people a day, according to the FBI, that's being kidnapped in America. In America alone. That's not the rest of the world. That's just America, and that's daily. So what is 2,000 times 365? And this is what's happening in our planet. And one of the things that we could do, there is a kavacha that you can put over your children when they leave you. And I did. My children are grown, and I still put it on them. It's the electronic circle. You know, you put that over your children, and I go, "I'm protect electronic circle over whichever one that they are," and I'll say their name like Barada, and then I'll put the mantra on the third eye. "I'm the protective electronic circle around Barada," and I go, bam, put it on his third eye. You know, and he a grown man now, and I still do it. And always I did it on my daughters, and they never realized or understood how they were being protected just through the power of the spoken word. And these are some of the things that we could do to protect our family and our children. The protective electronic circle. The Ascended Masters speak about this. I am the protective electronic circle around, and call their name, and then put the mantra right on their third eye, bam, like that. They'll always be protected. One time my son was off, he was rapping at this time with this group called 070, and he was real good. He was the next to be in line, and he just couldn't see his own destiny and realize instead of hanging with that, he goes into the Navy. That's a whole nother story. But he was going to Jersey we were in Jersey. He was going to Newark because they were doing a seminar there, a performance there. And as he was walking out the door, I just had an intuitive feeling. I said, "Bishop, come back, come here." And I put the thing around, boom, 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 right? Put the mantra on him again. I had already given to him, but I put it on him again, right? I protected the electronic circle and the mantra. And so they go out that night. So there was a melee in there where cops get stabbed with a screwdriver, and one of his best friends got stabbed. And he was right in the mix, and none of it touched him. And when he came home, he says to me, "Dad, how did you know that this was going to happen?" I said, "I didn't know. I just had a feeling that I needed to put some extra protection on you." And it's like that, y'all. We're living in these times. You know, we're living in times that and a cop even got stabbed with a screwdriver at this concert.
And one of the biggest ignorant things, family, that you can see out here is a sucker setup. Is when you see childbearing age young women with headphones in both their ears, earplugs, That means they have no idea if somebody come behind them, grab them by the waist, and throw them in a moving van. There, no, who would care? Who would care? So this one sister asks for what's a protection invocation. I'm gonna share with one I use before going to sleep
Give me my thing.
and also before going out into the
Put the
street.
colleges in.
I
Yeah, you know,
am
I hate this.
master shield of protection surrounding me. Yes, I am. And I visualize a field, a cloud, luminous light surrounding me. Then I say, yes, I am master shield of protection around my home. And this luminous cloud surrounding my home. Then I say, I am master shield of protection surrounding all my friends, family, loved ones, my son, my nephews, my brother, my sisters, my brothers, and all my family, friends, and loved ones. And then I reinforce it by asking Archangel Michael, would you please come and protect my family, friends, and loved ones? And I am inside of Archangel Michael's shield, and I am Archangel Michael's shield surrounding me.
It's in the room.
This is a zoo, family. You're living in a zoo, and it's a
Look on
pasture
yeah.
for the pickings of the predators. So
Among the
unless you
papers.
don't dare be arrogant to step out of the pastures from the barn of your house into the pastures of picking, which is the streets. Don't dare. Don't be that arrogant, because you will cry as they slowly make you die.
Oh yeah. We do these protective decrees every morning. I do them every morning, but in the class we do them 6 days a week. And these things that I see someone is asking for them, I can send them to you if you like, and just send me your email and your name, and I'll send you these what we call covertures. Covertures are like armor. Coverture means armor, and you're protected. And we do a number of matter of fact, we start our decrees off with these protective covertures or protection. And I asked my wife to go to get them for me. I'm gonna have to print out a whole new set because I've been using the screen to do my. You see them? Just that. Let me see if they're in there. And they're very powerful. In fact, they become so strong. Steel, a bullet won't be able to penetrate it and get through to you.
Hey, hold on, Lalji. I gotta just drop this. Yo, Hollow Vegeta. I think you trying to make up a new language, cause I can barely make out what you writing, brother. And it's almost funny. Yo, Youngblood. What's his name? Evan. Maybe you can translate what he's saying, cause he looked like he's on his way to doing hieroglyphics.
It looks like that's what what's the name and them be doing, but I'm trying to figure out who's what's the name.
Yo, you creating a new language, Hollow?
And then be doing.
He's definitely creating a new language, man. Oh, that is funny. Oh, look. We got another one from Hollow. Look. Read that to me, Evan. Maybe you can translate that.
Told my kids that forever. No headphones in the street. Quit playing.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for your contribution. Hollow, I want to see your book. New translation of English. Because you're gonna leave a lot of us behind there, brother. But this is real, family. This is real talk. And you better believe everybody watches how Black athletes, male and female, excel in sports, basketball, track and field. So they're saying, you know what? I'd like to have a nice liver from that one right there. And don't you dare be stupid enough to put down donating your organs, because you might prematurely disappear based on the data bank. You got to keep your prayers going, family. For real. You got to keep your prayers going. I don't know what happened to Lalji, man. He did that finger snap, and Evan's gone, and Lalji's gone. So just so you know, family, Archangel Michael is the angel of protection. And I want to give a special acknowledgement to Brother Joel. He told me last night that there is angelic frequencies. So look him up on YouTube. But he was telling me he was going to turn me on to angelic sound frequencies of Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Gabriel, Archangel Uriel. And I haven't looked into it yet, but that makes sense. I'm like, oh man, I gotta check out these archangel frequencies. So look into that because it's war. And if you ain't going out here with your spiritual protection and you think you're gonna have some buffalo wings and chicken wings and somebody sizing you up for buffalo wings and chicken wings, summertime's coming, you know, and folks be trying to dress their best and show their assets. There's some folks up here sizing you up for cannibalism. Cannibalism is silently on the rise. Do you realize that, y'all? And guess I like dark thighs. Chicken legs and thighs was my favorite as a kid because the breast meat was too dry for me. They got people out here looking at people as future meals. All right? Cannibalism. So you better get with it, man. You think this is a joke? Y'all play with social media if you want to. Let me see if I can get Lalji back in here. Hold on. Let me see. Man, this little computer's acting up. Oh, here he is, right here.
What's that?
Welcome.
Yeah, what happened, man? They kicked you off the screen?
I guess the sinister forces didn't want everybody hearing these covertures to protect their body. Did you hear the wall of blue flame? Did that come through?
Nah, man, we didn't hear nothing. We just saw you smoke the whole screen, man, and just teleported right on out. And then Evan put up his amethyst crystals.
You got
that's all we saw. So do it again.
You got this tube of light that surrounds you, right? It's like a tube of light drops right down on you. And then you got the wall of blue flame outside of that. And this is the wall of blue flame. Beloved mighty, I am presence and great Sanat Kumar. Keep me and every person, place, condition, and thing under this radiation of the ascended master, Saint Germain, surrounded with the invincible wall of blue flame outside the tube of light as added protection until all are free in the ascension. We thank thee, thou shalt always answer every call. Then you got the violent consuming flame that comes from up underneath you to give you even more protection, right? Now, we say these first decrees before we do our morning, noon, and night decrees. First thing, right? Beloved mighty, I'm present. Blaze up through me now, your mighty, violent consuming flame, the purifying power, divine love, and its most powerful dynamic activity. Consume cause, effect, record, and memory forever of all human concepts, desires, and feelings in my being and world, and every mistake which my outer self is responsible. Replace it with the ascended message, electronic substance of light, love, purity, and perfection, and hold your dominion within me forever. These are the first, and they're protective. And that's just that. I got a whole page of protective decrees that we say after we do those, as we move, I got them situated in different categories: wealth decrees, health decrees, like this, and then we got these protective decrees. And John Ramirez, in his books, Armed and Extremely Dangerous, he tells people, if you don't have any protection, if you think you're spiritual and you don't have any protection around you, the sinister forces will take you down like nobody business. They take you and your family down like nobody business because you're open and they can get right into you. And this is what happened to my son, playing the playboy role and leaving the teachings. A vampire, a sex vampire came right into his world. And if you don't watch yourself, especially if you're out there playing with sex, that's exactly how they come in, because it's easy to get you young guys like that. Next thing you know, you're not yourself, and you're acting totally different than who you were initially. And these decrees protect you. These decrees protect you like nobody been. You'll be surprised. You'll be so surprised. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real, family. Okay. And I'm on a bicycle. Listen, I'm riding my bike and I'm around trucks, cars, buses. I take my bike on the train. And if you feel a vibe, don't ignore it, because the vibe is your early warning system. That's when you do your invocation. Like I would see um, like fights breaking out on the subway. I would see stuff occurring. And what I do is I stay right there and I ask mentally, Archangel Michael, please intervene, surround and neutralize the situation. Thank you, Archangel Michael. And I would hold it, and miraculously, Lalji, Brother Evan, family, it would dissipate on multiple times and multiple occasions. Has worked. Just want to share with you. You are the gods sprouting, family. You make the difference. If you see danger happening in your face, or if you're feeling the vibe, that's when you're supposed to pull the lightsaber from your heart, your I am, and chant a different reality. Don't do like suckers on the social media and pull out a cell phone to videotape your kidnapping. You better pull out your lightsaber and start to chanting and go to hell with videotaping, because you're being trained to be chickens in a coop, and the hawks come for their own picking and say, yeah, tape this sucker. And so you're going to pull out a phone and watch some sister or some young brother get smoked or kidnapped for body parts? Look how you've been trained to be stupid. Mind control to
I got
maintain body parts and sex traffic. You better rise up to becoming the angelic emissaries incarnate and make the chant to make the difference. That's
I
why
got it.
Molly got smoked. His family now only plays music like real life stuff. They don't have no revolutionary music. Reggae has been neutralized.
Yep.
Only thing now, they haven't messed with Western folk music. They still talk about, shooting, killing, but indigenous music like reggae, show me a reggae song that says, gonna run those crazy bald heads out of town. Natural mystic. Where are the songs today? They've neutralized progression in hip hop, in reggae, so you remain a duck like chicken on prison planet Earth, sheep like, so they can bust your ass or have some ignorant person from your own kinship do you damage. It's a frequency war. Make the difference. You be the difference for the tomorrows to come. Otherwise, it will haunt your ass.
I got another coverture for your car, or protection device in your car. I was when I got cut off, I was saying it, so you missed it. Every time I get in and out of my car, if ever I walk out that door, no matter what, even if the pour gas, when I come back in there, I say this decree, the protective decree. Beloved, mighty, and present, great hosts of sitting and ascended masters, great angelic hosts, great cosmic beings, and the seven mighty Elohim, I evoke the full protection of Archangel Michael to protect us in this car, to protect everyone outside the car, and to protect the car. I ask this in the name of Swami Muktananda Paramahansa, Bhagawan Nityananda, Guru Maha Chivalasananda, beloved Saint Germain, Lord Jesus Christ, and the great Sanat Kumar. And I thank you. Every time I get in and out of the car, I say that decree. Every time, without fail. And I don't have any accidents. And I see accidents that could have happened that stop right there in seconds. It's like magic, right? But it's the law. It's using the law. And the more I use it, the greater it becomes. Even not to have police stop me and stuff like that. The more I use it, the more powerful it is.
And the brother, he's an ancestor now, Brother Jiwe. He gave me a suggestion that he practiced. Brother was an engineer. He said, if you happen to get slack without doing your protective shield and being invisible to negative law enforcement, when you get pulled over in your car or your motorcycle or whatever the situation, send love and peace to the law enforcement's hearts before they roll up on you. Peace and love, because they are very in tune, because they're hunters, so they will pick up the energy. You hear that? Send them peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love. Because you've been trained to be a sucker. You've been trained to be prey. You've been trained to think you're going to eat chicken and collard greens with turkey while you're being fattened up for the biggest feast. And brothers who don't act from their testosterone, and you know in your heart when you're supposed to do the right thing. When you don't do that, you're going to be haunted for freaking decades. And nobody gets away with their thoughts, feelings, and actions because it will come back at you to pimp slap you across your face or across your ass, family. Because karma is gravity of the soul. Karma. For you not acting when you were supposed to do invocation, that will come back so that it will be the cord that makes you have reincarnation. You're like, I don't want to go back to that planet. And then you see the review of all the times that you freaking froze and said, now you got to go back. You killed somebody, you cursed somebody, you got to go back so you can be killed and you can balance karma with the curses that you threw out under your tongue. Because most of us are silent assassins or gossip killers because that's part of the trauma. We're gossip killers. And you're going to go, so back to earth you go. Back to earth you go, nigga. I don't care if you white. My brother, when he was in jail, I got to tell you this one, Lalji and family. He said he was in jail. He was with some Puerto Rican inmates. He said they got pulled over by a white state trooper. And the white state trooper said, you niggas get out the car. And the Puerto Rican said, we're not niggas, we're Puerto Rican. You know what the white trooper said? I don't care what kind of nigga you are. Get out the car.
Yep.
Wake up. Wake up.
Ben had that. We had that experience more than once. That's why the Puerto Ricans were so tight with the blacks. So they're saying, and the same thing with really light-skinned black people. They thought, realizing we ain't getting no slack because we lighter. They don't give a damn. You know, I heard them say, so you a straight-haired a nigga. Get your monkey ass out the car. That's what they would say. We don't care if you got straight hair, you's a nigga. And hey, it's like that. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up, family. You know, and they want to divide us like that. You know, any little way that they can divide us. They leave they divide the Haitians from the Dominican on the same island with the same genetic profiles. You know, the Jamaicans against the, oh man, it's sad and it's sick. But divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That's program number one.
Exactly. It's all about divide and conquer. But it's teaching you to be complacent. And that cell phone of yours, it's a crystal oracle, family. Liquid crystal display on your cell phone. So instead of recording somebody's grandmother getting a beat down in the street or you walking past, if you don't have your crystal on like you were supposed to put on, when in the morning your spirit told you to put it on, then you chant, Archangel Michael, intervene. And unless you don't have the balls to intervene, you chant, Archangel Michael, intervene. What's the use in saving your body and losing your soul? Losing your soul because you were scared. You're freaking afraid. You got to be careful with religions. Religions is mind control. Psalms 82:6 say, ye are gods. Remember that. You're a god. Train your boys to be martial artists, musicians, and mathematicians. Brothers, take up a craft so you use your hands, so you know how to create instead of just being a cash cow.
Yeah.
Learn skills so that if the lights go out and the power goes out, you know how to use a nail, a hammer, a wrench, a pair of pliers, and know how to create. They have the sisters being miseducated by white feminists who go home to their husbands and children. And the black women say, I'm strong and independent until they get a flat tire or the lights go out on the corner that they got the flat tire and they realize how helpless they are because they forgot their protective knife or rusty knife or their gun back at home. What you gonna do now? You better learn to have a relationship with angels of protection, Archangel Michael, Angel of Healing, Archangel Raphael. You better learn how family, blood is thicker than water. And if you don't have a blood family, you get in alignment with a frequency family.
Yep. But it's best to have both.
And that's all I got to say. We're going to do Tuesday Healing Circle, y'all. Listen, we need for you to come to the Tuesday Chant Circle. We're going to be doing crystal chants for people because if you haven't noticed, the banks are collapsing and they're trying to keep it off mainstream media as much as possible. But economics is sinking and they're not going to tell you until it's too late. But what we can do is collective group healing on each other and together to make the difference. We got to go back to community. Tuesday, and I'm going to play this video so you can remember. Tuesday's Healing Circle. All healers, Reiki masters, practitioners of psychedelics, angelic healers, pranic healers, prayer warriors. We are inviting you to heal and pray for others to make the world a better place. Come with your crystals, come with your microdosing, come and assist in healing transformation. So family, that's Tuesday's page. Where did Lalji go? Took
He'll be
off
right
again.
back.
Oh, okay. So the thing about this year, projection, manifestation. We're going to do a show in the near future about a particular herbal combination that is highly beneficial. I'm getting a little feedback. Pardon that, family. Let me move my table. Hold on. We're going to do a show about two herbs, one from Africa and one from South America, and how beneficial it is for cellular regeneration, detoxing, and activation. I got my herbs soaking right now, and we're going to do a show. I'm thinking maybe we might do this week, but it's a combination of herbs, man, that put a skip in your walk and glide. I mean, it just like regenerates. These herbs, if you mix herbs correctly, and you got to be careful because herbs is our original medicine. But this combination is amazing. We're going to do a show this week. We'll keep you posted. So please like, subscribe, make your comments. Thank Brother Lalji. I thank you for all your comments there. Because we make the difference. It's about us collectively, the spirit of Ubuntu, making the difference in the world. So I want to thank you again for the show. And it was almost like 1 o'clock. I'm going to wait for Lalji to come back, but I'm also going to add an announcement. And this is for you to remember who you are. Oh, there you are, Lalji. All right, bro, go ahead and do the closeout, man. We're about ready to wrap it up. It's coming up on 1 o'clock.
Nitya Nandaya Gurave Shisha Samsara Harine Bhaktakaye Dehaya Namaste Chitsaratmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nish Prapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Sahana Vavaktu Sahano Bunaktu Sahaviryam Kanava Vahe Tejas Vinavadi Tamastu Ma Vivisha Vahe Om Shanti 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 Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om.
All right, thank you, Brother Lalji. And I want to thank you, Brother Evan, for holding space. You know, we got some shy folks up in here, but it really don't matter because when it's time for you to leave this realm, family, where's the pictures? Where's the videos that you ever existed? Where's the photos, family, of how you assisted? Did you help anyone? Did you take the sacrifice to take the stand to transform your home and the land? You know, you got to think ahead. It's just not about you. You know, they try to create a society. Me, me, me. They've weaponized victimhood to literally kidnap you psychologically and eventually physically. You got to take a stand in your I am and call forth the powers of thunder, earth, air, water. You wasn't just randomly born. You got amnesia from the grace of the Creator because you've been banned to Boogie Land, Prison Planet, Chicken Farm, Earth for some jacked up stuff you did in the past, or you came down to try to help the piggies and the piglets figure it all out, aka human types. So I thank Ascended Masters has guided this show, and I'm asking and thanking you for rising up to make a difference because nobody gets off the planet alive. Nobody gets off the planet. This is a slower version of the movie Predators, where they drop the people, the bad people, on that little planet in parachute. Some of them crashed down and died when they crashed with the parachute. You're on Prison Planet, Chicken Farm, Earth. You got to get busy. You didn't come down here just to shake your ass and shake your titties for 20 years, because that's all the women got is 20 years. All right? You came down here to make amends for the jacked up crap you did in the past lives, or even help out others. So I want to thank you, Lalji, for taking your precious time. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, listening audience. Thank you, Brother Hollow. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Peace out.
Thanks for having everyone.
Right on.